Hi, hello. So I don't know how this experiment is gonna go, but I thought of it a couple weeks ago and I haven't been able to stop thinking about it. So I'm doing like a secret TBR thing. All of my TBRs are secret because I'm not making videos consistently. What I'm wanting to do is read recommendations from booksellers from my favorite independent bookstore, which is the Loft. Do I need to reiterate that? So I have 3 right now that I've been recommended. 2 of them I still need to purchase that I've been recommended. 1 that I have, and then I'm going to pick a staff pick as well. I'm reading 4 books based on 4 of my favorite booksellers from the Loft. Those being Gary, Nicholas, TJ, and Julie. Obviously, like, I adore everybody that works at the Loft, but these 4 I connect really well with. I love this indie bookstore, and it's the holiday season, and whoop-de-doo and dickory-dock. I think it's really important to support local businesses and indie bookstores and things like that all the time, but especially during the holiday season, especially during this perpetual pandemic. That's a Lemony Snicket book. First, I'm gonna go with the recommendation that I was given by Gary, my boy. I talk about Gary pretty frequently when I mention the Loft, and Gary mentions pretty frequently Wendell Berry. I got a more curated recommendation from Gary as opposed to just being like, recommend me any book, because I've been wanting to read Wendell Berry anyway, and I was like, oh, that'd be a cool idea for a video to read recommendations from my favorite booksellers and see like if our tastes line up or anything like that. I'm slightly inspired by the videos where Kayla from Books and Lala did like curated TBRs through a service. It's kind of like that, but also not like that at all. I asked Gary, I was like, oh, recommend me a Wendell Berry book. And he was like, well, he's pretty dry. I don't think his taste will align with yours in like his like novels, but he writes poetry. And so Gary went back and forth between 2 different collections, but he ended up recommending me A Small Porch, Sabbath Poems 2014 and 2015, Together with the Presence of Nature in the Natural World, A Long Conversation by Wendell Berry. I love this cover. During like, I don't even want to say the height of the pandemic, because like I feel like we're still in the height of the pandemic. Columbus, get your shit together. Mike DeWine, get your shit together. But when the pandemic was like really breaking out, Gary would post a Wendell Berry poem every day, and I was like, I need to read something by this guy. So that's number 1. Next, I'm gonna go with TJ. I adore TJ. His tweets and his takes are so fun. Anytime I see TJ at the Loft, I was like, hi, how are you? And I never want to bother anybody, so I'm just like, oh, I'll let you work. I don't mind bothering Gary. I'll just say it. I'll bother Gary until the day I die. My existence to Gary is probably a bother, but you know what? That's fine. So I asked TJ for a recommendation, and I kind of had a feeling of what he was gonna recommend me, and I was correct. He recommended me The Book of X by Sarah Rose Etter, and he said it's published by $2 Radio, which is a local publisher in Columbus, which I love. I love supporting local, and I love $2 Radio. He said it's a surrealist fiction that explores body image, gender roles, and expectations, love and grief, all through the lens of Cassie, who was born with her stomach tied in a knot. And he says he's recommended it to everybody that's ever asked for a book recommendation, and it sounds amazing. I had no idea what it was about, so I'm picking that one up. And then I also asked Nicholas, and he said it's going to be The Real by Z Brewer. It's a YA LGBT sci-fi horror where the main character expresses gender differently in 3 different universes. And that sounds super fucking cool. Go on the Loft's website right now. Should I be screen recording? I'll screen record. A Book of X. Search. Come on. That's what? And I look up the author's name. Sarah Rose Etter. Ah. Try that. There it is. I found it. Add to cart. Continue shopping. And like the book, I'll show you. Hold on. The Real. That's the real Mother Goose. All right, let's look up Z Brewer. Maybe that'll warrant us a better outcome. Let's get real suspicious. Okay. So it's not on the Book Loft's database. Okay, well, huh. Into the Reel. Oh my god, I'm so stupid. I literally was typing it wrong and I read the DM wrong from Nicholas. That's my fault. I was like, wait, there it is. And it literally says it's a staff pick. Awesome. I wonder by who? That's like my only gripe with the Book Loft website is that like all of these recommendations sound really great. However, for this video, I want to read like specific recommendations from the booksellers that I like have more of a rapport with because I'm biased. Where's my cart? Why am I so stupid? I probably should have hit proceed to checkout, but I wanted to show you literally where it says fucking cart, Morgan. So I'm gonna check out and I'm gonna do it for in-store pickup. So I'm also going to put in the order comments, Jeff Bezos sucks ass. My plan is when these are ready to be picked up, I'm also going to go to the staff pick section and pick another book. Jeff Bezos sucks ass. Praise be to Malamarcus. Hi, TJ. That's that sums up like my entire personality. Alright, cool. Yeehaw! I guess the next clip you'll see is me picking up the books. Ian's playing Destiny right there, so if you see him and if he's talking to his friends on Discord, I'm not sorry about it, he's having a fun time. To the Book Loft with my dear sweet co-worker and friend, and I picked up my books that I ordered. Julie wasn't there, but I grabbed her staff pick. Okay. Because it's basically a recommendation. I have my other bookseller recommendations. They're here. I'm gonna be reading 4 books. First, I have Into the Reel by Z Brewer. This was again recommended by Nicholas, which was for some reason really hard for me to find because I kept looking up The Reel and not Into the Reel because I am a boob. Next, recommended by TJ, I have The Book of X by Sarah Rose Etter. I am really excited about this one. I think the cover is stunning. It's a local publisher release. And it seems like it's going to be a really good time. It's pretty short and it seems like it's told in like vignettes almost, so not mad about that. Click that. And then the final book I have, which is the staff pick from Julie, is Fat Girl Finishing School. Yeah. Fat Girl Finishing School by Rachel Wiley. This is a poetry collection, and from what I remember, Rachel Wiley is a local poet. I've seen her on Button Poetry. I'm gonna let Ian game and I will check in when...
Can we also try to kill the servitors?
And I will check in when I start a book. But right now,
do not know.
I'm gonna eat some deep dish pizza. So I'll check in when I start a book, whichever one that may be. Hi, hello, good morning. A significant amount of time has passed. My hair is a new color. I wasn't doing well mentally, and I didn't want to start this really awesome project that I had of reading books recommended by booksellers that I respect and love and cherish when I was not in a good headspace, because I want to do this video and those booksellers justice. And now I'm back in business. I've decided the first book I'm going to be reading is The Book of X by Sarah Rose Etter. Once again, this was recommended by TJ. I've seen TJ talk about this a lot on his Twitter. I knew that this was gonna be his recommendation, but also like it wouldn't be fair to just assume and to just pick it up because like genuinely I've been wanting to read this anyway. And I was like, oh well, if I want to read that I can do it for my video reading Booksellers recommendations. So I was like, no, have to do it the honest way, have to ask TJ for the recommendation. Carmen Maria Machado blurbed this book, which means a lot to me because I've read both of their books this year and loved them. I've read Her Body and Other Parties and In the Dream House this year, and they were two of probably my favorite books I've read this year. They were so good. And Carmen Maria Machado says, I loved every page of this gorgeous, grotesque, heartbreaking novel. So I'm gonna read the synopsis real quick. I figured I would do that for all the books. Two of them are poetry collections, so they probably won't have like, they obviously won't have synopses. Duh. This says, the Book of X tells the tale of Cassie, a girl born with her stomach twisted in the shape of a knot. From childhood with her parents on the family meat farm, to a desk job in the city, to finally experiencing love, she grapples with her body, men, and society, all the while imagining a softer world than the one she is in. Twining the drama of the everyday, school-age crushes, paying bills, the sickness of parents, with the surreal rivers of thighs, men for sale, and fields of throats, Cassie's realities alternate to create a blurred, fantastic world of haunting beauty. So I am very excited for this book. I didn't know what it was about until TJ told me, until I read the synopsis obviously, and I'm even more excited to read it and to see where I fall on this. When TJ called from the store to tell me that my books were ready to be picked up, because I ordered this and then Nicholas's recommendation, he was like, hey Morgan, this is TJ from the Book Loft, you know. And I was like, okay, awesome. And I was like, and I'm so excited to read the Book of X. And he's like, I'm so excited for you to read it, and I just want you to know that if you don't like it, you are dead to me. Which is something about like, God, hopefully I like this, but also how confident he is in my enjoyment of this book. So I have no doubt I am going to start reading with my coffee. Oh my God. I will check in when I feel like there's something to say. I don't know. I'll check in when I feel like it's a good time to check in, I guess. But yeah, I'm gonna read. Okay, bye. Okay, what the fuck? This is getting 5 stars based on this passage alone. Holy shit. So it looks like it's gonna be told through almost like vignettes. I'm just gonna read this real quick because holy fuck. I'm sure I'm gonna read a little bit from each book because why wouldn't I share with you what I'm reading? Holy fuck. It's so good. I was born a knot like my mother and her mother before her. Picture 3 women with their torsos twisted like thick pieces of rope with a single hitch in the center. The doctors had the same reaction each birth. They lifted our slick, warped bodies into the air and stared, horrified. All 3 of us wailed, strange new animals, our lineage gnarled, aching, hardened. Outside, beyond the bright white lights of the hospital, the machine of the world kept grinding on, a metal mouth baring its teeth, a maw waiting to clench down on us. Really just out the gate, like, this book is beautifully written, get ready for it. Like, okay. Thought we were gonna ease into it. No, just here's some brilliance right at the beginning, just so you know what you're getting into. And I'm fucking here for it. Cheers, I'll drink to that, brother. I'm gonna lose my shit. This book is about to be so good. My mother is like weather in that she changes daily. Each day I make a report of her. I'm on page 7 and this is about to be my favorite book of the year. Like, what the fuck? What the absolute shit? Oh my God. Okay, I have to give myself like a page number or I'm just gonna keep checking in every 20 seconds. I'm gonna read to get to part 2 and then I will check in again. Okay, I think that's doable. I'll probably end up reading this entire thing today. I don't have anywhere to go, anything to do. Okay, I'll check in when I get to part 2. I didn't mean to rhyme, but I did and I'm not sorry. I was going to get to part 2 and update, but I'm on page 34 and I'm crying. This book is so fucking good. Just like these small glimpses at this life, and it's so heartbreaking, but so like, I don't know, there's a feeling of it that's like hopeful. And I don't know, I think that like, I don't know, I see the way that she craves this healthy relationship with her family, and it just, oh fuck. I think this is the best book I've read this year, and I'm 35 pages in, so that's it. That's my update. This is where part 2 starts, so I'm not that far off. So I will update when I get to part 2, but Jesus, TJ. It's so good. So I'm at part 2 of the Book of X. Hello. I don't have my normal sticky tabs, so I'm annotating with like giant ass post-it notes until I have my sticky tabs. So that's why it looks real obnoxious. So I'm like, what, a third of the way through this book? Yeah, there's 3 parts. I just finished part 1, a third. Yep. I was crying for like the last like 10 pages or so. So far, I just want to say that this is still maintaining like at this point this book is still 5 stars. Like I don't think there's anything this book could do to become any less than 5 stars, other than like, I don't know, the character completely change overnight and murder everybody and have no more heart or like experience. There's just truly, or the writing just like completely tanks this last half. There's just nothing I can imagine happening that could change this being, let me just say it, my favorite book of the year. It's stunning, it's heartbreaking, it encapsulates what it's like to live in a body that feels constantly attacked, and what it's like to deal with familial issues and friendship and sexual assault and all these things when you feel like your body is warring against you too. And it's a lot. But like in the best way possible, if that makes sense. So Cassie is such a wonderful character so far, and I love these vignettes. I think that the way that it's written is perfect. I don't think that I would want this to be written like a traditional novel. I think that these glimpses we get are perfect. I think that this book is excellent. I don't have words, like they're escaping me completely. Cassie lives with her mother, her father, and her brother on like their farm, and her father and her brother farm meat. Like there's this quarry behind their home that they own, and they found back there that there's meat that they can harvest from the walls and the ground, and her father and her brother go out and harvest meat, and she typically stays home and cleans the house with her mother. She is the 3rd woman in her family to be born with a knot in her stomach, like her mother and her grandmother before her, and it's like a medical anomaly. There's been no research done to like fix it, so you know, Cassie is trying to live in this body that she doesn't know how to live in because her mother never taught her how to live in her body, because her mother still doesn't know how to live in her body, and her mother prioritizes societal expectations and fad diets and what's in and what's good and what's like the new trend, like white teeth, or you know, plastic nails, or a diet where you suck on a rock and don't eat anything. And she imposes all of these societal standards of beauty and what's right with the female body onto her daughter, and onto herself as well, but especially onto her daughter. And that is something so encapsulating of like my personal experience with societal expectations of beauty. And then you get these glimpses of Cassie reorienting these experiences, and they're all titled Vision, where it's like she rewrites these circumstances to where like she has a healthy relationship with her mother or her father or a boy at school. And it hurts so much more to like re-experience it in a way that she wishes it would have happened. And I don't know. I have literally no words, but it's amazing and it's beautiful. And I've said that a billion times, and I'll say that the rest of my time reading this book. But I want to take my time with it today. Like, I'm definitely gonna read it all today because I can't stop, but I want to take a little break, make another coffee. I will check back in here in a bit. It's so good. I can't stop. You know when you see someone singing the praises of a book constantly, you just see the way that someone loves something and you're like, oh, I wonder how I'll feel about it. I wasn't blind to TJ singing the praises of this book all year and all last year. Like, I wasn't ignoring it or pretending it wasn't there. Like, I continually saw him just raving about how exceptional this book was, and I was like, oh, I wonder if I'll feel the same way when I read it. And I don't think I'm ever going to be able to shut up about this book. But like I said, something else could happen in the 180 pages I have left that could just make me absolutely hate this book and throw it in the garbage disposal. Highly doubt it, because of how emotionally invested I am and how gripping it's been thus far. Theoretically, that could happen. I highly doubt it. But yeah, so far reading one of my favorite booksellers' favorite books is going really well. And it's exceptional. It's great. It's brilliant. And I hope you all are ready for me to talk about this book for the rest of my life, because I can't. Okay, yep, alright. I'm gonna go and make a coffee and see if Ian wants to get lunch. And yeah, this book is so good. Jesus Christ, this book is so fucking good. Hello. I haven't read anything since we last spoke, but I did eat lunch and hang out with Ian for a little bit, and now he's left to go play Pokemon Go at the park, and it's a little too chilly for me to be outside because I have Raynaud's, and I just don't feel like being out in the cold today. I do feel like continuing this book. I'm at part 2. This is how long part 2 is. It's a big chunk. So my plan is to make coffee and read this chunk, and then I will update you. Is this a video that warrants a coffee montage? Let's do one. Okay. That did a little heart. Not awful. My coffee, I've eaten, so I'm gonna get back to it. Reading the Book of X. I have every intention of finishing this book today because it's so good and it's all I've been able to think about all day. But most of my day has been spent reading, so of course most of my day is going to be spent thinking about it, right? I'm going to read part 2 now, and I will come back to you when I am this far. Hello, hi, hi, hey, hello, hi, hello, hi. Did I start this video saying hi, hey, I'm Morgan? I don't remember. I have finished part 2 of the Book of X. So here I am, part 3, 75 pages left in this. Every page of this book is just crafted wonderfully. There's not one element to this book that I've disliked. There's not, it's just so good. Like, it's just, it tackles womanhood and femininity really well and encapsulates the experience of living in the female body. Clearly it's not an all-encompassing experience, but in my opinion and in my experience, it tackles it very well. It's one of those things where I also feel like this book is smarter than I am, in the sense that I'm sure her stomach literally being a knot is a metaphor for something like the female experience, but I just am taking it for what it is and also looking at it as it is, and I'm looking at the parallels between how she views herself and how she views the meat and the quarry with her family. And I don't know, I think that there are bits of this book that are just gonna be smarter than me because I don't claim to be the most intelligent person and I don't have like any sort of degree of dissecting literature. I just read it and take what I get from it. You know, I think that this book is wonderful. Yeah, I have 75 pages left and it's about to come in on, what is it, the fucking 19th as my favorite book of the year. So like, that's pretty neat. I'm going to read these last 75 pages and then I will come back and tell you how I feel about it, and then that will be the last you see of my face until the next time I pick up a book that a bookseller recommended to me. So I will check back in like, I don't know, 75 pages, let's call it an hour. Let's say it takes me an hour to read this because I take my time with it. That sounds about right. Okay, I'll see you soon. I'll see you very soon. Time has passed. Ian's home. Say hello.
Hello.
I finished the Book of X by Sarah Rose Etter. I just read the last 50 pages in the bath because I was like, hey, self-care sounds nice. You know, read last 50 pages of the book in the bath, have a good time in the bath, have a glass of wine in the bath with this book. And then the ending happened. This book was so good. It made me sad. It made me happy. It mainly made me sad, but not in the way that A Little Life made me sad, where it was like purposeless sad, you know? Everything that happened in this book was done with intention and made sense to the story and to the character. And it was just beautiful, and it was just one of the most beautifully orchestrated books I've read in a really long time. I'm giving it 5 stars, and I think it's my favorite book I've read this year. And by that I mean I can't think of any standalone book that hit me as hard as this one did, excluding A Little Life, because there was no enjoyment in reading A Little Life. I at least enjoyed myself while I was reading this. And I don't know why I'm comparing it to A Little Life, because clearly not every book that makes me cry is comparable to A Little Life. Because A Little Life is emotionally manipulative. And this book like makes sense with everything that it does. It's not written with the sole intention and purpose of inflicting pain on the reader and making the reader sad, right? Like, this tells a clear story and gets the job done in a way that feels authentic to this character and to this writing style. And it was exceptional. Thanks, TJ, for this recommendation. First bookseller rec down, and it's a 5-star. It was so fucking good. Oh my god, I want everyone to read this book. Like, now I get why TJ is always recommending this book to people, because I don't think I'm gonna be able to shut up about this book ever. I want everyone to read Cassie's story, and I want everyone to experience the prose of this book, because like, it's so beautifully written. Like, it's a novel, and it's not told in verse, it's told in like vignettes, so like small glimpses of Cassie's life over a span of many years, and it's exceptional. It's so good. It really dissects what it's like to be in the female body through this surrealist lens of a woman who was born with her body like tied in a knot. It talks about like societal expectations of beauty and about her relationship with her mother, her father, and her brother, as well as her relationship with societal norms and men, and what it's like to find love when you feel like you're at war with your body. It's about body dysmorphia, clearly. It's about like body image. It talks about sexual assault and parental abuse, loss of a child, and like love and lost love and grief, and it's just all encompassing to just the female experience. Clearly I'm saying that from the lens of a gender non-conforming but still like cis woman. So take that as you will. Like, obviously not everyone is going to get the same experience from this book, clearly, but it was beautiful, and it's so fucking good. I want everyone to read it. If you take one thing away from this video, I guess I'm just gonna, you know, tag team with TJ and tell you to read The Book of X by Sarah Rose Etter. It's so good. That's it. That's all I have to say. And I could sit here and say it's so good 800 times. And yes, I'm wearing an Umbreon onesie because I cried for 25 minutes straight, and I'll be damned if I'm not gonna wear a Pokemon onesie to make myself feel better. First book is down. This one was a fucking win. I'm really happy about this. This is getting 5 stars. Easily one of the best books I've read this year, coming in at the final stretch of 2020. So good. Wow, this book was good. Holy shit. Thank you, TJ. I know you're gonna watch this because I'm gonna send you the link because you asked me to. Thank you for this recommendation. I'm probably gonna thank everybody 800 times for their recommendations, but thank you. This is a quick favorite. I finished it and I was like, I want to reread it. I'm super fucking stoked that I finally read this. It's a $2 radio release, so I got to support an indie publisher and read one of my favorite booksellers' favorite books that he's always talking about. And now I have a new favorite book of all time. Holy shit, this book is so good. Okay, I have to go, or else I will literally spend my entire night filling up this SD card of footage of me saying this book is so good. Just know that this book is really fucking good. Okay, I can't stop grinning. I love it. I loved it. I will continue to love it and scream about it for the rest of my days. So, I'll see you tomorrow. Do you have anything you want to say, Ian? Your head is in my little hand.
It's pretty good.
more time has passed. My hair is cut and still has a semblance of green in it, and it's 2021, so Happy New Year. I'm going to continue this video because, like I said, if I was in a bad mental spot or like going through it or in a reading slump, I didn't want to force myself to work on this video during that time because I want to do the books that were recommended to me and these booksellers justice because I care about them and admire them and respect the work that they do. I took some time off for the new year after I finished the Book of X. I did not read anything else because I could only think about the Book of X. Thanks TJ. But I'm here and I'm ready to read my next book that I've decided to read for this, which is going to be Fat Girl Finishing School by Rachel Wiley. This is a poetry collection, so I don't see it taking me very long to read this, and by that I mean I'm definitely going to read it all today. And I've also decided to split this video into 2 parts because there's 4 books, and with how I've been like diving into it and discussing these books, I realized that talking about all 4 in one video, this video could potentially be quite lengthy. I'm going to read both of these books and that is going to conclude this portion of the video, and then part 2 I'm going to be reading Into the World. Hey, future editing buffoon Morgan, I said the wrong title for the book again. Into the Real. Real. Not world, not the real, Into the Real. Jesus, God, what? Who hurt me so bad? And a small porch. Mainly because I don't want to put out a video that is like over an hour long. Did I say that this was recommended by Julie? Because it was. So, and also I just recently went to the book Loft. Julie was finally there and I got to tell her that I was working on this video, and I was like, every time I've come in I haven't seen you to get a recommendation, so I just grabbed your staff pick. And she was like, what was my staff pick? And I was like, Fat Girl Finishing School. She's like, honestly, that's probably what I would recommend right now. And we talked about it. We talked about Rachel Wiley and poetry and what it means to her and how it has one of her favorite quotes of all time in it. And yeah, so I'm very excited to read this. I love Julie. Something I always say is like, when I go there, I don't know if I've mentioned it on my channel because I'm like, this is the first time I've really talked about the booksellers that I like at length. But every time I go into the book Loft and I see Julie, or more specifically like Ian and I will hear Julie's laugh from like another room and we're like, oh, Julie's here. And she is just the kindest, purest, sweetest person that I think I've ever met in my entire life. She has this like radiance about her, and she really loves to discuss books and she loves to just talk about things, and she's so personable and so kind and so genuine, and I just, oh, I have so much love in my heart for Julie. I think that she is astounding. They just don't make people like that good, you know. And yeah, and I'm really excited to get to read a book that she cares about. And yeah, I'm gonna finish my coffee and then I'm gonna start reading, and I will check back in either once I've finished it or when I get to a poem that I really like. Yeah, I didn't expect to gush this much, but here we are. So it has been many an hour and Ian and I have successfully eaten our collective weight in chicken parmesan, and we're both on the verge of food coma. This is a dragon. And I finished reading Fat Girl Finishing School by Rachel Wiley. I literally just finished it. And it was great. It was a really wonderful poetry collection. I think I'm gonna give it 4.5 stars. I really enjoyed it. There were some poems in here that really got me. I was going to read excerpts from it like I did with the Poet X, not the Poet X, the Book of X. Who the fuck am I? But I know that with poetry, it's easier for subject matter to be harder to handle and is more triggering at times. And just because I personally wasn't triggered by something doesn't mean that it won't upset or be potentially harmful to somebody watching this. So I will say that some of my favorite poems in this collection were In Which the Poet Learns to Wake Up Alone, Questions for Yoko Ono, When My Love Decides We Need a Break. That one made me bawl my eyes out. Paper Babies, Coercion. Venom was a really funny poem. I really liked that one. A poem for Amy Winehouse. There's so many that are so good that I think were really great and beautiful and poignant and written wonderfully and written by someone local to Columbus, which I think is awesome. I'm so happy this was Julie's staff pick when I went into the book loft, and that I picked it up and then I read it. And yeah, I really enjoy Rachel Wiley's slam pieces, so I'm really happy to have finally read one of her full-length poetry collections. So because I said I was gonna split this video into 2 parts, because I don't want this video to be over an hour long, because I'm not Books and Lala. No one wants to watch an hour of me fucking talking. I'm gonna wrap up these 2 books that I just read for the first half of this and let you know what I'm reading for the second half. And by that I mean, like, did you watch the whole video? I read 2 recommendations. I read The Book of X by Sarah Rose Etter. This was recommended to me by TJ. I ended up giving this 5 out of 5 stars. This was my favorite book of 2020. It was phenomenal. Here are my sticky tabs. This book was phenomenal. It was beautiful. It hit the mark. It hit every single mark and means the entire world to me, and I want quite literally everybody to read this book. And then I also read Fat Girl Finishing School by Rachel Wiley. This was recommended by Julie at the Book Loft, and I think I'm gonna settle on a 4.5 out of 5 stars for this one. There were some poems that didn't hit as hard as other ones, but it was beautiful. It tackles love and self-love, especially being a fat black queer woman, being a black woman who is white passing and what that looks like, abuse, lost love, loving yourself. That was a huge part of this, and it was just really great, and I loved it, and I'm really happy that I read it, and I highly recommend both of these books. But more importantly, I recommend that you support your independent bookstore and pick up staff picks from your favorite local indie bookstore, or ask for recommendations from booksellers at your indie bookshop if that is something that you have the means or ability to do. Y'all know that I'm all about supporting indie bookstores. Cue some video links where I literally tell you how to support independent bookstores. These books were a fucking hit. They were so good, and I'm so excited to read the other 2 books that I have recommended to me by 2 more booksellers. I will have that up on my channel sometime in the near future. That is gonna be it for this video. Let me know what you think. If you've read either of these books, if this video pushes you to read either of these, and let me know what you think of them when you do. And yeah, that is really all I have to say, other than if you want to talk to me, you're more than welcome to leave a comment down below, because talking to you guys is my absolute favorite thing in the world. And if you want to see more of my content and more of my mug, you are more than welcome to subscribe. I'm getting back on the schedule of uploading every Monday and Friday. Yeah, my name is Morgan. This is MorgyyReads. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day, and happy reading. Okay, bye! That's a thumbnail somewhere.